I'd request Dr. Asba and Dr. Rishi to answer this question as you're into MedPeds program. So how difficult is it to get MedPeds specialization in the USA?
All right, so I'll go ahead. Am I audible to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think MedPeds in general is kind of a competitive specialty. Why? Because basically you're doing something which has to be done in 6 years in a span of 4 years. But then there's another thing that most of the international medical graduates are not really aware of this. In fact, I was also not aware of it till I guess August when I started looking into programs. So maybe it's because of the lack of awareness or the lack of interest which people have in like a combined specialty. We don't have as many international medical graduates applying to it. So if you look at the NRMP data also, you'll find like around 21 international medical graduates who are visa requiring who have actually matched into MedPeach out of the total 388 seats they have over here. So that comes out around 5%. Although it looks very competitive, but I don't think we have the numbers to really judge that how difficult it is. But if someone like really asks me like how did you get MedPeach and in a university program, so what I think worked out for me was I found a rotation in that program. Like I matched in Metro Health, so I did a rotation there for 4 weeks in the MedPeach department, and I think that's what helped me build an impression there and ultimately land a slot over
So you did electives or was it something else? What sort of a
there.
rotation
No,
was
no,
it?
I did an observership over there,
Okay.
and it was mixed. It was both in the outpatient and the inpatient. So I was like 2 weeks in the outpatient clinic, and rest of the 2 weeks I was in inpatient, which was more of medicine than pediatrics, whereas my outpatient was more of pediatrics than medicine. And one more common
Okay.
question which a lot of people ask me is, like, did you do any kind of peds rotations? So I think no, I didn't do any peds rotations because firstly, I was not really aware of the med peds specialty in early on. I got to know about it in August, which was like the time when I was winding up all the rotations. But yeah, going back in
Okay.
time, if someone asks me, would you have done a peds rotation? I mean, you can add it to your CV, it doesn't really harm it. And I don't think it made a big difference in my CV over here with the interviews. So yeah.
Okay. Dr. Asba,
So I
we
would,
request your input.
yeah. Thank you. I would agree with Dr. Chaudhary. It feels like it's very competitive, but I guess we are applying less. But it is competitive. It's not like it's not competitive at all because a few years back they did not give seats to IMGs and only visa requiring, non-visa requiring or US citizens or graduates were given those seats. And there are also less seats available. I don't know how many seats your program gave, but our has like 4 that was increased recently. Peds and medicine separately usually have 6 to 8 seats in a program. You have 4 as well, right, Dr. Chaudhary?
Yeah, you're right. So I think most of the MedPeaks programs have just, I think 4 to 6. I think the least number I know is two in Marshfield Clinic. There are like just two spots for
Mm-hmm.
MedPeaks, and I think they interviewed more than
Mm-hmm.
100 candidates over there. So you can see
Mm-hmm.
how competitive it does get to an extent.
Yes.
So that's the thing.
Yes, and also as he mentioned, it's double board certification. So something you would do in 6 or years, 3 years separate of internal medicine and 3 years of pediatrics, you are doing it both. And it has a scope because you can do fellowship in both. You can do adult gastroenterology, you can do pediatric gastroenterology, you can do adult cardiology and also pediatric. So it's a good thing you get to have a lot of field available. And also US
Yes.
citizens do prefer it, US graduates do prefer it. Again, I would agree with Dr. Chaudhary that I did not do any pediatric rotation and it did not matter a lot to them. They didn't even ask me that if I was actually doing a residency in my hometown, in my home country, and they didn't, and that was in internal medicine, and that didn't bother them again because MedPeds is officially I can go to pediatrics and I can go to medicine, so it's not a lot different. If I was doing surgery, then it was a lot different, and then we could have some trouble. But MedPeds, I think for me, I added a good personal statement into it. I did not do any rotation in any pediatrics or even the hospital I was applying to. But yes, I was good with my words and how do you present your CV. And I had a separate volunteer
Okay.
experiences in pediatrics. So I showed my interest that I was interested in pediatrics and how I would want to contribute to the field of child health. So that's how it went. And also I would
Okay.
say that it's important once you have an interview, you are half there. So it's like make it or break it. So anybody who would want to prepare for interviews, I would say once you get an interview and start looking into program, and you look how
Yes.
it's important, and each of the person who will be interviewing with you, you find something about them and you get to talk somehow in the interview. Let them talk about themselves, make them feel special that you are reading them somehow. So I was like that was my plan actually to do it this way. I was made in University of Missouri, so this is how it went. This is how it went, and you got to know everything about them. So I think once you get an interview anyhow via doing rotations or via showing some interest, once you're into it, it's not that hard. You can easily compete you as graduates. So that's my take on it.